Today is Tuesday, January 14th. We are talking about the ominous forecast for the Los Angeles area today, making the wildfire risk even more extreme, and how the firestorm has ignited a new debate in Congress. Also, the final report from the special counsel that defends criminal charges against President-elect Trump. Plus, how the nation's first congestion pricing is going 1 week in. Why hanging out at Starbucks is now going to cost you. And a self-help book is suddenly going viral after an NFL playoff game. Those stories and even more news coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Southern California wildfires that have already leveled entire neighborhoods are expected to get even worse today. The National Weather Service says dry, dangerous Santa Ana wind gusts could hit 75 miles an hour this morning, and it issued rare, particularly dangerous situation red flag warnings. Still, more than 8,500 firefighters are working 24/7 to get the fires already burning under control and prevent new ones from sparking. They made some progress on the fires that started last week. But because of today's new fire danger, some crews are going to vulnerable areas so they're in the right spots if more fires do break out. The fires have so far destroyed or damaged more than 12,000 buildings, including thousands of homes. Dozens of people have died, and what the fires have left behind has been described as apocalyptic. One bright side is donations have been pouring in, since it's not just movie landmarks and celebrity mansions that have been destroyed. It's also hit economically diverse communities, and many people are now struggling to find housing in one of the least affordable places in the country. So celebrities like Beyoncé, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and Jamie Lee Curtis have together pledged millions of dollars, as have big businesses like Netflix, Disney, Comcast, and Amazon. If you'd also like to help victims of these fires, we posted links in today's episode notes on our website to trusted organizations that are accepting donations. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers have been talking about sending emergency aid to California, but many Republican leaders say there should be some strings attached. As House Speaker Mike Johnson put it, quote, "It does come down to leadership." He says it seems local and state leaders haven't been doing what they're supposed to, so it would make sense to put conditions on any aid they receive. Other Republicans have said California should have to fix what they're calling bad behavior on policies ranging from taxes to land management before getting federal help. But Democrats have warned that could set a new precedent that could come back to bite other disaster-prone states, too. Conditioning federal natural disaster aid on state-level policy changes is highly unusual. Just recently, Congress approved billions of dollars in new disaster funding for Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, and the Carolinas in the wake of disastrous hurricanes. And that aid did not come with conditions. Just days before President-elect Trump returns to the White House, investigators are laying out in extensive detail what they see as his effort to cling to power in 2020. The highly anticipated report from special counsel Jack Smith came out overnight. And as expected, it wasn't very flattering for the president-elect. It summarizes everything Trump and his team have been accused of doing after President Biden's victory that culminated in the Capitol riot. The details have been told before, mostly through indictments, but this is the first time Smith himself has given a detailed assessment about his investigation. He said the evidence he collected was enough to convict Trump if the 2024 election win had not made it impossible for the case to continue. Smith also defended himself and his team against criticism, saying he believes they set an example for others to, quote, fight for justice without regard for the personal costs. But Trump responded to say once again that he's innocent. He also called Jack Smith deranged, desperate, and a lame brain. By the way, the Justice Department's lead investigator in the Hunter Biden case just released his final report, too. Like Smith, special counsel David Weiss defended his investigation, saying it was the embodiment of equal justice, only focused on facts and the law. And he criticized President Biden for calling his case politically motivated, saying it undermined confidence in the criminal justice system. Though in response to the report, Hunter Biden's lawyer again made the argument that the investigation was biased, pointing to certain key decisions like the one to withdraw a plea agreement after public scrutiny. Weiss was on the case for 6 years, eventually bringing federal charges against Hunter Biden. But as you know, Biden granted a pardon for his son last month, meaning he'll never receive punishment. It's a big week for more than a dozen of President-elect Trump's choices for key cabinet positions. They're scheduled for Senate confirmation hearings over the next few days. The first one, set to happen this morning, could be one of the most contentious. The Senate Armed Services Committee will grill Trump's pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Remember, he's a former Fox News host and Army veteran. Since he was first announced as Trump's DOD pick, there's been debate about his qualifications and his opposition to women serving in combat roles. Hegseth has also faced a growing number of allegations of sexual misconduct, excessive drinking, and more. Hegseth has said none of those accusations are true, and a lot of Republicans are on his side. In fact, GOP senators drilled Hegseth in a mock hearing last week to prepare him for today. For now, this is the only confirmation hearing planned for Hegseth, but some nominees will have to appear for more than one, just depending on what their potential job entails. Committees will then vote whether to recommend each candidate to the full Senate, teeing up a final confirmation vote. The plans are coming together for President-elect Trump's second inauguration day, and we now know some things will be different from the first time around. For example, Trump has raised more than $170 million for his inauguration, which is a record amount. So far, there's been more interest in people getting tickets to attend, but far fewer permit requests for protests. And the requests that have come in are for much smaller demonstrations. Also, more elaborate parties are planned. Events include a MAGA victory rally, national prayer service, swearing-in ceremony, parade, 3 inaugural balls, a fireworks celebration, and more. They're expected to draw supporters, business leaders, and diplomats of all backgrounds. There will also be some star power. Country music star Carrie Underwood will perform America the Beautiful at the inauguration, and the Village People will perform at 2 inaugural events. More news is still coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. This new year, you may be thinking about the things you want to leave behind. But for me, there are definitely some things I want to keep the same, including using Lumi Whole Body Deodorant. It is safe to use anywhere on your body, it's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours, and it's paraben-free, baking soda-free, and more. So I use their stick deodorant every day. I also love the body wash as well as deodorant wipes for on the go. So these are parts of my routine that will not change. You can also choose from a variety of fresh, bright scents or just get unscented. Try a variety with Lumi's Starter Pack. It's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine that 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Just use code NEWSWORTHY for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code NEWSWORTHY at LumiDeodorant.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. Now, back to the news. New York City's new congestion pricing plan has taken tens of thousands of cars off busy streets during its first week in action. The Metropolitan Transit Authority says the zone below 60th Street has seen a noticeable drop in traffic. That's the zone that now requires anyone entering by car to pay a $9 fee. And the MTA says an average of around 44,000 fewer cars entered the area per day in the past week. Plus, city buses have moved faster, commute times have decreased, and there's less noise, too. Though officials also say it's too early to draw conclusions, since other factors like freezing temperatures and a post-holiday lull may be also contributing to less traffic. And people who live in nearby areas outside the congestion pricing zone say traffic has actually gotten worse and parking spots are even harder to come by. Officials in other cities are now watching what happens since New York City is the first in the U.S. to try this out. America could see dementia cases double in the coming decades. A new study published this week shows the risk of getting it is much higher than previously thought. Part of the reason for the adjustment is people are living longer. The study says only around 4% of Americans will develop dementia between ages 55 and 75. Then the risk goes up significantly, especially after age 85. All told, the numbers mean by 2060, 1 million people each year will develop dementia. Now, keep in mind, a risk of getting dementia doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. Researchers note certain lifestyle factors also lower the risk of getting dementia, like managing high blood pressure and obesity, not smoking, and avoiding social isolation. McDonald's is now being sued over its scholarship program. A new lawsuit accuses McDonald's of racial discrimination because the program is only open to Hispanic and Latino students. It was filed by the American Alliance for Equal Rights, whose president also sued colleges, leading to the Supreme Court banning affirmative action for admissions. Specifically, the new suit says the McDonald's Auxerre Scholarship Program violates a law passed just after the Civil War because it requires applicants to have at least one parent of Latino or Hispanic heritage. So it asks for an injunction to stop any new students from receiving the scholarship. And this could potentially force McDonald's to change its application criteria. The suit comes just a week after McDonald's announced it would roll back many of its corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. But it had not said it would make changes to the scholarship, which has given $33 million to more than 17,000 students since 1985. Well, next time you need a place to study, work, or use the bathroom, don't necessarily pick Starbucks unless you plan to buy something. The coffee chain is now ending its open door policy. Violators will be asked to leave, and law enforcement could be called if they don't. The company says setting clear expectations for behavior will help create a better environment for everyone. It's a reversal of a policy put into place in 2018 after two Black men who had not bought anything at a Philadelphia Starbucks were arrested. The incident made national news, led to an apology from Starbucks, and a notice to store managers to only call police if someone is a safety threat. A star NFL player went viral for reading a book, and now that book is a bestseller. During a playoff game, Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown was caught on camera reading Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. Brown insisted he was not frustrated with his team, but was reading to help him refocus and lock in. Viewers could see highlighted passages in the book, and Brown later said he brings it to every game. As of this morning, it's the top-selling book on Amazon. Despite the new sales, the author says he's just honored to have a meaningful place in anyone's life. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Delete Me. If you didn't already know, data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, and unwanted spam calls. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. I'm now signed up with Delete Me's subscription service, and just in the first report, Delete Me removed 84 listings with my personal information. So these complete strangers had things like my name, home address, social security number, you name it, and they were selling that information. Well, no more thanks to Delete Me. To put it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping your and your family's personal information from data broker websites. Delete Me then sends personalized privacy reports showing what info they found, where they found it, and what they removed. Look, as someone who does work publicly, I am extra aware of my online safety and security, but we're all impacted in the online world we live in today. So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting Newsworthy to 64,000. Text Newsworthy to 64000. That's Newsworthy to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply, so see terms for details. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. And today's trivia question is, what famous civil rights speech was mostly improvised? As for last week's trivia question, what is the only continent without an active volcano? The answer is Australia. That said, Australia is home to one of the world's largest extinct volcanoes. It's called the Tweed volcano. Scientists say eruptions there lasted about 3 million years, but ended 20 million years ago. It's still very recognizable, but it's not expected to erupt ever again. That still leaves nearly 1,400 potentially active volcanoes still on Earth, and there are dozens of eruptions every year. Some of the most active volcanoes include Mount Etna in Italy, Kilauea in Hawaii, and Mount Merapi in Indonesia. Well, thanks for joining us today to get caught up on the news. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest. Until then, have a great day.